Howdy, folks, and welcome to episode 162. Do you like movies about gladiators? I sure do. Um, got just in yesterday. I got Arena of Blood and the cards to go with, also known as the the Hostel of Hemoglobin. Uh, what did you say the other day, McMurray?
Dude, there's been 8 million of them. Ever since it took Nick Nasty like 8 million guesses, calling it everything. And then Poncherello started calling it everything, and it just spiraled out of control, and it's wonderful. We've had all
Yeah.
kinds, like the Stadium of, well, I think Arena of Entrails or something, or Stadium of Blood was like the first one that was just, either way, it's
Right.
I think my main stopping block was I ran out of different words for like stadium and Coliseum and Thunderdome and stuff like. But yeah, I'm excited to. Have you flipped through this yet, or?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Well, actually, I flipped through it over at Wiley HQ on Saturday.
Okay, I was about to say I got mine Thursday of last week maybe, and I opened it up live with Mini Warmut, and it's quite impressive. I'm a big
It
fan.
is. It's only.
Let's see how good
that?
Chris is reading about reading Roman numerals.
Yeah, it's 18, 21, 22, 23. It's only 24 pages, but that 24 pages is packed with good stuff. So we'll dive into that here in just a second. Speaking of Wiley Games, head on over to wiley-games.com to get your copy of Arena of Blood. It is shipping now. It came in early. I wasn't expecting it for another 6 weeks.
I'm about to say the original goal was end of May, then that got pushed back, I think, to end of June, and then now end of April we're getting it, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's always better to under-promise, over-deliver than it is to over-promise and under-deliver.
I am happy I'm happy that is the consensus over at Wiley HQ also, because a lot of gaming companies are big on the. I mean, with the best of intentions, big on the promise, and then sometimes they fall short. I'm with you. I'd much rather buy into something with an it might be 3-4 months until it gets out, just so you know, and then oh shit, it's been a month and here it is. I'd much rather have that disparity. I mean, that seems like a big thing in the board game community is you could pre-order something and it might be fucking years before it gets to you, which is understandable. Most of the time, most of the time there's not like a hard deadline set of, hey, here's when this is coming out. But at the same time, when you pledging money to something or even paying for something, that's not always
the other thing you want to check out over at Wiley Games is the crap, I'm drawing a blank. Marshall's Codex.
Codex Galactica?
Yeah, or no, not Codex Galactica. The Grimdark Codex.
Grimdark Codex, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you've got
check that out.
If you got all the models from the Evil Empire,
then you don't want to play that game anymore because it's stupid.
Because they suck.
Then, but you love playing Wiley Games. Two great things that go great together. Fistful of Lead and Grimdark. You can't beat it. And Marshall did an excellent job on the write-up of everything. It's really well done.
So. He really did. It's quite nice. And again, it's nice, especially just really enjoy, having an army list sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome that Marshall's able to cater pretty directly to that in terms of, he he wrote essentially one great big army book a la early Games Workshop.
Yeah.
And did it, like you said, a great job at it. I mean, it's all in there, guys.
Yeah, it's and that's going to be hitting mid-June. That's what we've been promised is mid-June.
Wait, they're printing it?
Yes.
Oh, that's badass. Previously, it's just been a download.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a PDF. It was a working PDF, but I think he finally got it to the point where, hey, you know what? This is good. Let's go to printer with it, and we're gonna get hard copies, not hardbacks, hard copies in perfect battle like this. Uh, it's off to the printer. I think we're just waiting for it to show up at this point.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that makes me really happy because I've used. I mean, you guys all know that I enjoy evangelizing the Wiley games, as they like to put it, which is fair. And I've played a number of games with 40K figures and everything else locally here. Especially with there's a fantasy like kill team sort of thing. I don't know what the hell it's called when that came out, and then people playing kill team. The issue is, good lord, man, there's 8 million fucking units and everything, and I really didn't like having to go through and convert all the stats and figure out what these things are actually supposed to do, and make that to Wiley-ize that, and it's really helpful that, hey, here it is. Quit
exactly.
Around.
It's a great way of going to a game store with figures that are recognizable by the masses and draw them in. Hey, what version are you playing? We're playing Fistful of Lead, buddy.
Hey, yeah. So
come check it out.
We're not going to spend 6 hours trying to play a game. We're also not going to spend, I don't know how long consulting. Well, okay, so now we need to re-roll ones. No, we're going to re-roll sixes. Well, your sixes count as this. Oh, well, this special rule does this. Well, my special rule counters your special rule. Does your special rule counter my special rule? I think my special rule counters your special rule. And I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. Also, you could get both books for less than the cost of a 40K army book, like drastically so. Even printed, I would imagine.
Boy. So go check all that out. Like I said, it's on pre-order right now. Mid-June is what I'm being told that it's going to be available. So yeah, good stuff. Also, head on over to geekgamingusa.com to get your base ready material to make all of your miniatures look the very best they can, even if you paint like shit like I do.
I was about to say, man, you can paint like crap like me and just get a million figures or get a bunch of figures onto the table. You base them up nice. You base them up uniform. It's going to look like a real army.
Yep, exactly. A good base makes a crappy figure look good, and a good figure look great.
Correct. The rug really ties the room together.
Exactly.
And that base is the rug that ties the room together.
Quick rundown. Charles says, evening, Nordic Maelstrom, evening, check how goes it, Meandering Mike. If you don't like movies about gladiators, are you at least glad about movies? See what you did there, Mike. I like it. Nordic Maelstrom just popped in to say hi, lads. I'll be back in about 20 minutes. You all behave till I get back. Take care, Nordic. See you here back soon. Let's see. Walk About Games, Chris Long, eh? How's it going, eh? He's got his PDF of Arena of Blood printed and bound.
Hell yeah, buddy.
He'll be getting his hard copy and cards soon.
There you go.
And Charles responding to Nord, saying setting up Worthington's Gettysburg, trying to figure out where to drop Buford at. Try the local
As
pub.
far west as you can, Charles.
Walkabout Game says it's 25 pages of goodness. All right. I stand corrected by one damn page. Richard Keenan in the house, evening all. Mandarin Mike says it is the pit of puissant participants.
There you go. Exactly.
Walkabout Game says I was shocked at how packed it. I mean, it is, and I'm gonna go through it here in just a little bit. And,
it's pretty awesome how receptive Jay was to feedback. Also, like
yeah.
Like he added an entire campaign system because it was one of those, hey man, we played a bunch of games of this. How cool would it be if you could spawn a new gladiator? And I mean, it ties in with that kind of fistful of lead.
Exactly.
It's not a fistful of lead system game, but it ties in with that feel of, yeah, if you want to, do a narrative thing with this and get attached to, like we all know, Double Dutch and all these guys, the Baron and Doc McStuffins or whatever his name is.
Right.
They're all like that's part of the fun of playing these games, and it's cool that got chucked in there.
So, Charles comes in and says, "Hi, Chris and McMurray. How you doing, Charles?"
Mr. Charles, it is good to see you, buddy. I like your orcs. You've been putting up pictures. You guys saw you put up pictures of your orcs. That's a shitload of them, man. Holy smokes!
There are a shit ton of orcs there. I'm impressed.
The Great Latour, man.
Oh yeah, Telemachus says I'm not busy. I just have to complete my many activities at the same time. Unknown. Mandarin Mike, Man Cave of Mighty Men at Arms. He's still coming up with new names. McMurray, I got Mal's new book printed and bound.
Nice.
Yep. Gymnasium of Jeering Juggernauts. Skella Gremlin says, evening all. Mandarin Mike comes in with two more. Dojo of Death Dealers and Stadium of Salty Slayers. Oh, one more. Field of Fatal Foes.
Nice.
Charles says, I'm glad I found you guys when I did. Fistful of Lead saved me from the GW and 40K. Outstanding.
That's what's up.
Outstanding. So, all right, I'm going to do a little camera adjustment because we're going to take a look at Arena of Blood here. Let's see if this is going to do exactly how I want to do it. Ooh. There we go. All right. So here is the book. It's a beautiful book. It's obviously well illustrated because, well, shit, that's what Jay does, right? Don't mind this stuff over here. Don't mind this at all. This is just, my messy ass table. First thing is the, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to blow myself up here. Here we go. Obviously, we got cover art. Photos are of Foundry and Crusader miniatures from the collection of the author. Battle Honors miniatures from the collection of Nick Fetter and James Sharp. Playtesters, a lot of people who played over the years, but mostly the Basement Generals, also Chris, not Jay, Arnold, and Andrew McMurray Biedenstein. Oh, hey.
There you go.
We got Warmutt. We got Warmutt in here. Way to go, Warmutt.
That's because we sat there and played like all those games live.
Yeah, you did when
I was talking back and forth with Jay, he goes, I don't know, you and Warmutt have played more games with this than anybody else, so what's up? Which makes, because we played a bunch of games live, we played a bunch of games not live, and then I took it up to game night, and I played a bunch of games with complete new folks, right?
Yeah.
So honestly, that was the wonderful part. Was even the completely new folks had it down in a heartbeat. Wonderful.
It is fantastic. Such an easy game to get through. It is very accessible. Yeah, it's just a great game. And he's got an introduction telling you what it is, what it isn't, what you need to play. And the thing is, it's what it is. It is not a historical recreation of gladiatorial combat. So take that right out of your brain. That it is some sort of historical recreation. Um, but it is a great way to have a few hours of fun with your friends and make terrible gladiator jokes. Absolutely. Playing the games, talk about how you set things up. The great thing is this could be played with a handful of miniatures, uh, about maybe a half dozen six-sided dice, and you know, honestly, you could play it on a turntable that size.
Yep, I use that 12-inch Lazy Susan tray that I
Yeah,
just geek gaming to the flat part of, and it looks pretty good. It works super duper well, and I play
yeah.
with 54 or 28 mil gladiators on it.
Uh, and then playing the game, there's basically four steps. You shuffle cards, you deal cards. Each player chooses a card, reveal the card, and you go at it. There's no measuring necessary. Although we see the players on a hexagonal grid, it's not necessary because there's no measurement. You move to
I was going to say,
contact.
we pointed that out. So there you've got a hex grid with round bases. Flip back to the opening page. Like there's only one page. No grid, hex bases, whatever you want.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
We were joking around that you can take the colored crappy little plastic gladiators and play in your kid's sandbox if you want.
Yeah,
Go for it. Play in the sand in the corner of a parking lot. Get after it. Who gives a shit? Play.
exactly. Walkabout Games said it perfectly here. I have a 12-inch Lazy Susan. The game is take me to the pub size.
It 100% is. It
Absolutely.
absolutely is.
Absolutely. Talks about the special cards, and I've got the cards. I'm going to show the cards off here in a second. Queen of Spades. Um, your special cards are Queen of Spades, Queen of Hearts, Jacks, all sevens, all sixes, and all twos. And of course, your aces are wild. They're a little different than Fistful of Lead because remember, this is not a Fistful of Lead game. There are similarities, but not to, not a lot. Activating that. This is the entirety of your activation. That's it. That's all you got to know. Then it talks about your ability slots. Each character or each gladiator has uh, four ability slots. Um, so yeah, it's quite quite good. Then it talks about the combat. Again, real easy to do. What's really nice about it is the book literally gives you everything. It talks about the different gladiator types, and then there's your campaign right there. There's 3 pages worth of campaign information. Yep. And then the different gladiator types. And there's 4, 8, 12, 16 different gladiators and a couple of animals. And then you got your QRS. So, yeah, it's only 25 pages, but there's a lot of stuff in those 25 pages. Then, of course, the cards are going to be beautiful. Also, there's your Joker. your kings. You've got two specialty queens. You got your jacks. And then instead of your standard Arabic numerals, you've got your Roman numerals. So really a good set of cards.
The cards have Roman numerals on them?
Yeah.
That's bad. That's awesome. God, we're going to trip people up with that. That's fantastic.
And the great thing is you're not calling out, you're not doing a call out like you do with Fistful of Lead. At each turn, each player gets to choose which card he wants to play. Let me get my camera back into position here. There you go. All right. So that's Arena of Blood. It is a blast to play. This last weekend, we had the May the 4th games at Wiley HQ. And that was one of the games that we played. We played Gamorrean Guard Gladiator games. It was 4 Gs. And,
because fun fact, you can use these gladiator rules for any sort of arena combat. It's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, did we have specialty Gamorrean Guard cards? No, but that's only because Jay didn't want to worry about it, which I don't blame him. Did my Gamorrean have two swords? No, he had a big freaking poleaxe type thing. It doesn't matter. It was still a blast. And there are definite strategies to go after the different type of gladiators. So my guy, I had on my abilities, I had a lightning bolt, a reroll die, and two swords for extra dice. So I was rolling 3 dice and rolling first against my opponent, but my opponent had 1 sword, 1 reroll die, and 2 shields. And I was getting my ass handed to me. The only reason I was able to make it last as long as I did is I had 2 6s that allowed me to leave combat. Excuse me, without taking public disfavor, so I could take a breather and remove a wound. Otherwise, he would have had me a lot faster because I couldn't get past those that damage or the blocking. I had one roll where I rolled a 6, a 4, and a 5. Well, that 4 and the 5 were blocked by the shields.
Mm-hmm.
So I was instead of getting two wounds put on him, I was only able to get 1, and he had his queen to drop off that heal the next go round. So it was like, God, I'm never going to get past him. He finally got me, but my gladiator did last longer than any of the other gladiators that got beat. So there you go. Let's see. Telemachus says it's like a ultimate dungeon terrain. Walkabout. I ordered a box of new Footsore War Games Atlantic Civilians plastic box. It would work good. If you give them swords, it could work well as slaves. I bet the rules could be used for jousting.
I'm not sure how well it would work out for jousting, because jousting, like, I don't know. It seems like with jousting, you want to like get the whole playing for your lance. For like a medieval grand melee, absolutely. So like, think about the goofy shit that Heath Ledger does in A Knight's Tale. Absolutely, like wonderful for it.
Now, if you want a jousting game, you got to look at Breaking Lances by Thomas Foss over at Skull and Crown Stratagem. The only problem is, I think he's taken the rules down. I think he's doing a rework on them.
I didn't know that they were ever posted, or else I would have already downloaded them and been playing the piss out of them everywhere, because it's super fun.
I thought they had been at one point. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the only way to get them is to win them from him.
That might be it, because I don't know if you can get the
little hand shields.
Yeah, which are badass.
Yeah, which is integral to the entire thing. So
it is rather important. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's that's an entire different discussion. But medieval grand melee, absolutely, you could use that for this. Jousting, not so much because of what you're doing with the lances and whatnot. It might be able. It could, with a little tinkering up, might be able to. You might be able to do it. But I think we just need to start pestering Mr. Foss. But not too much, because he's a cool dude. Hex to Hex is in the house. She says, I like gladiator movies. Have you ever seen the inside of a Turkish prison? Other kinds of gladiators, do you mean gladiators, perhaps? Nice. Are Roman orgies in arena combat? Well, it's arena something.
It's not that kind of sword fighting, guys.
Yeah, it's not that type of sword fighting. Yeah. Meandering Mike, sexy hexy with the orgies. Yeah, the rules were originally grand melee games. There you go. Mr. Wiley is in the house himself. He says the rules were originally grand melee games. So there you go. So yeah, the Gamorrean Guard gladiatorial games was actually the second game that we played on Saturday. There was 8 of us, so we had 4 rounds, and then to get to the final 4, then there was 2 rounds to get down to the finals, and Marshall ended up winning the whole shooting match.
Oh, for the Gamorreans?
Yeah. So the first game was swoop bike racing, speeder bike racing. That was a lot of fun. I was well on my way to coming in maybe second or third when I got clipped and my fuel tank exploded in the front straightaway. I was literally one turn away from crossing the finish line.
Chris's sloop is doing Jutland shit.
What's that?
Chris's sloop was doing Jutland stuff.
Yeah. And then Marshall won that one also. But as he crossed the finish line, his bike clipped a droid that had meandered out onto the track at the start-finish line, and his fuel tank exploded, and so he crossed the line in a expanding explosion of ions and particles. So,
but he made it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if he made it, yeah, he crossed the line, but not all of them made it. So, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. We used kind of like axles and alloys, but with some some Star Warsy over the stuff. Um, lots of fun there. And then the last game was a big game of Fistful of Lead, where we had to get the winnings away from Jabba the Hutt and get them back to our table entrance. So yes, it was very much a posthumous first place, Charles. And Steve won that one. Uh, Steve was able to hijack Jabba the Hutt's little chariot and was able to, even though the chariot got blown up, it got close enough to his edge that he was able to abscond with the treasure chest of all the ducats or imperial credits or whatever it is that they use out there. So it was a lot of fun. Had a great time. Nord, if you're out there, thanks for buying a ticket. That was very cool of you. The next gaming event being put on by Wiley Games is Battles and Brews. If you happen to be in the Kansas City area, the weekend of July 19th, come on out to Independence Square to Three Trails Brewing and come play games with us. I am in the process of getting my airplanes painted. I've got my B-17s done, and I just so happened to have received my decals for them. So I'm going to be getting those decals here soon. I also got some P-51s painted up. I got them both in the dark green look. I still need to do the propellers and accent paint, but I've also got them in aluminum. And those are going to get decaled up as well using these decals.
And for the viewership, what scale are we playing with, Chris?
What's that?
I said for the viewership, what scale are we playing with?
These are 1/200 scale.
There
Or
we go.
excuse me, 1/300 scale.
Bam, which is very close to what ground scale? What figure scale?
Oh, 1/285, 6mm.
There you go. That's the stuff.
So
that's the stuff.
They're looking good. I'm going to be printing. I'll be printing up the bases here shortly. So yeah, I'm going to do kind of a test run at J3 the second weekend of June. So I've got like right at a month to get this done.
You can do that in a month.
Yeah. I've got the maneuver cards done for all aircraft, and I'm putting together pilot and aircraft cards now. Each player is going to run 2 aircraft. It'll be the leader and a wingman.
Chris, I'm getting all sketchy.
Yeah, jump off, jump back on. Okay. Let's see. Hissy Cat is in the house. Hey, Hiss, how you doing, buddy? Hope everything's going well. I know you're working like 800 hours a week, and you're moving, and all kinds of stuff's going down. But yeah, hopefully things are going well for you. Also, we've got the what's going on? There we go. got my ME 109s or BF 109s, BF 110s, and FW 190s. I've got them printed. I need to get them painted. I'm toying with this paint scheme on them. I guess that looks okay. I'm thinking I need a bit, either a bit darker on the, need to go a bit darker on the underpaint or a bit lighter on the splotches. I'm not quite sure which yet. I'm talking about my paint scheme on my 190s and 109s.
North Africa?
No, Northwest Europe, France.
Okay.
But yeah, it's that gray green undercoat with the green splotches.
Yeah.
And I think I got to go. I think I need to go darker on the undercoat. So,
Dude, I am waiting with bated breath. We might get a John Harrington.
yes. Tell him absolutely. So, Hissy Cat is moving to Lemon Grove, which is apparently almost damn near next door to Charles. So maybe they can get some gaming together themselves. So that's really what I'm working on. After we've got Battles and Brews, I'm going to be going to Minnesota for a week in August, and then nothing really gaming wise going on in September. But October we've got the Wiley Weird War Game Weekend. Right around mid-October timeframe. That's when we'll have the Revenant hunt and other great games that have something weird going on with them.
Other than the players.
Other than the players, yeah. So like last year, McMurray put on the Civil War game with what were they? You had werewolves
so it was the Confederacy was solving their manpower issues using a necromancer named Tombstone Jackson. Or Headstone Jackson was the one.
Yeah.
And so we had some Confederate zombies, and then they had some werewolf cavalry. There was all kinds of stuff. And then, so naturally, then the Confederacy was fighting the Union. The Confederacy had these supernatural guys. And then because of the existence and the whispers of, necromancy, right, the Royal Scientific Society sent an expedition down from the Great Lakes and everywhere else from Canada. So then we had some British intervention forces pulling up to join the fray to try and extricate a British national who was a unwilling participant, I guess you could say. So yeah, quite entertaining. I know Mike had a blast, and that's
he did.
What we're going for. So
so hopefully he's got himself back from Texas.
Mike is in Texas.
Yeah, he was down in Texas visiting a military buddy of his who just moved in down there, and I guess his truck broke down. That's why he wasn't at May the 4th, unfortunately.
Mike's truck broke down?
Yeah.
I would hope that by October he'd be back.
Well, no, I mean, I hope he's back now.
Oh, okay.
Well, and then November we've got the new game convention in Kansas City. called Tacticon.
Yeah, that's new this year, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes,
That
it
is
is.
appearing to be primarily a historical.
Well, I mean, he's open to anything.
Okay.
Yeah, he is open to anything. I happen to be taking. I'll be taking at least two, possibly three games. I am going to be taking Ocean Thunder. I'm going to be taking uh, Force on Force with Reese, and if needed to, get the number of games up, I will be taking uh, the aircraft game with me. So we'll see. But yeah, again, if you're going to be in the Kansas City area, the weekend of uh, Veterans Day in November, come on up to the KCI Expo Center and get some fun gaming in there as well. So it is going to be considered quote unquote a full blown uh, gaming convention with I believe silent auction and a, um, a swap and shop and vendors and all that. They've got about 6,000 square feet of convention space to fill.
Oh, damn. So he
Yeah,
needs games.
yeah. So I've already reached out to Kevin, the guy running the show, and said, "Hey, not only am I willing to bring games, but I've also helped run conventions. So, you know, let me know." But yeah, if you're in the Kansas City area, then that weekend, come play games with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, what have you been up to? What have you been working on, Mr. McMurray?
Um, in terms of miniatures and painting, I just been painting up some kind of random stuff, playing with these Army Painter Fanatics. I painted up some. First off, to just test them out, I painted up some I was trying to see how they would cover, so I painted up some minions and then some priests with guns who I painted up in bright orange, like old school Jesuits.
Mm-hmm.
Very happy to report that both the yellows on the minions and the oranges on the priests turned out quite bright on black undercoats. So that was badass.
Cool.
And then I painted up some other random stuff. Was that on this channel or was that over with Brian again? That might have been over with Brian. But then I painted up some other, random stuff like a little Victorian sci-fi dwarf-looking guy who kind of looked like a big naked ogre that was swinging a mace made out of a spine. And then Ganja Dolph, which was a figure I found on, I think, Thingiverse that's like the dude meets Gandalf. So Jeffrey Lebowski meets Gandalf. That was pretty fun. And then I painted up some older style Boy Scouts, so with the campaign hats and stuff, and the scout leader, and then some Roman civilians, just to see how they cover, messing with the light colors, the dark colors, seeing how they mix, stuff like that. Quite happy with those, as an aside. And then started on a big, fun gaming project in the Hex Encounter world with Hex the Hex and Wardrobe. So playing out the entirety of the Utah Beach sector of D-Day in the SCS game Day of Days. So I've got Utah Beach and then the entire area of operations for the 101st and the 82nd. Basically, if you think of the area of the Cotentin Peninsula and south, that's what I've got. So I don't have Omaha, but I have the entirety of Utah and the causeways that would then connect the two of them. Carentan is well on my map, so I just figured out I needed to take that. I was excited to, as 7th Corps Commander Lawton Collins, show Omar Bradley that Patton wasn't the only aggressive general he had, but the game rules really, really focus on the Allied desire to take Carentan, so I need to do that. So I started pushing the 4th Infantry Division south real hard. So yeah, that should be fun.
Very cool. Very cool. Nordic's back. How you doing, Nord? By the way, Nord, I said it earlier and you weren't here, but I'll say it again. Thanks for grabbing a ticket to May the 4th game weekend, even though you were nowhere close to us to enjoy the game, the games. So that's quite nice of you. Thank you very much. Hopefully someday you can make it down here and we can get a game or two in. So, theoretically, we're going to have a special guest joining us. March Hare wants to know, is there a video up for that Day of Days game?
Jeff posted a short.
There you go. Head on over to Hex to Hex on the YouTubes, and there's, I guess, a short of that game there.
How's was that bait chewy or oh Jesus? What are you working on? Anything other than those planes? Like, do you have ships in the process or anything like that?
Well, I'm actually kind of up in the air. I have printed some 1/4800 scale ships to kind of do a test to see if I'm going to like the scale. And I have to say that I do like I like what I'm seeing. There's the USS Texas at 14800. Here's the Japanese battleship Issei before she was turned into a seaplane carrier. So yeah, but I haven't gotten any more printed because I'm up in the air as to which naval battle of Guadalcanal I want to play or want to run, whether I do first or second. I've asked two folks already, and I've got an answer for each. I've one had said do the first, and then the other said do the second. I'm kind of leading to the second. Oh hell, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. My introduction, or reintroduction to you, our foreign correspondent, John Harrington.
Oh.
And the crowd goes mild.
Hey, well, not clapping. Yeah.
Gentlemen, well, good evening to you. Good morning from me.
Yes, sir. Good. Yes,
John,
sir.
isn't it like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning there?
It's 02:49. What does the O stand for? Oh my God,
it's early. It's early.
Yeah, yes. Jesus, buddy.
Oh man, good to see you, buddy. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. How goes the chat? I should have started with "Are you not entertained?" Is probably the movie quote I should have started.
There we go. That's hell yeah.
Quite good.
Outstanding. Quite good. Big fan.
So what are you working on? It looks like some critters that you had printed up.
Is that gonna focus? Usual thing of trying to get damn thing to focus, isn't it? Yeah, there's some small drones for Antares I'm working on. Yes, the 3D printed ones. And
nice.
yeah, I'm painting them up for a friend. So almost finished, almost done. There's some little spiky ones as well. Again, I'm not sure it's going to even. No, I'll get the camera. I'll play with the camera focus in a minute. But yeah, some little work on some drones and a mini for. I'll keep them further away for a competition in a May competition, Moonstone May. So
Very
keep me
cool.
occupied at the moment.
Yeah, it's good to see you. Good to see you painting again.
It's good to be painting again.
Yeah. So we were actually just talking about which battle of naval battle of Guadalcanal I want to run for the game convention coming up in November. And I've asked two people directly. I've got one answer for the first battle and one answer for the second battle. I like the idea of the second battle because it is battleships versus a battleship, but it's America's got two battleships and five destroyers. The Japanese have got one battleship, three light cruisers, and like 11 destroyers. So,
I was about to say, are you trying to play a night battle here?
yeah, well, they are night. Both of them are night battles.
Yeah, that might be a little rough. Like, do we have a bunch of night games? Are some of those ones where you either have to come up with an ass load of special rules, or rules usually need to be pretty ponderous.
Yeah. So what I was actually thinking of doing is kind of doing a what if situation where I kind of take both orders of battle and kind of pick and choose some ships from both sides, making them for numbers only for to be able to get players on the board somewhat equal, and then just do a what if. Hey, what if these ships were available and the Japanese decided to come down in the middle of the day type of thing. And I think that may be the route I'm going to go. That way, I've got the I'll have the ships that were there. Yeah, the night before, the first night, the Japanese lost a battleship, but we're going to say no, that didn't happen. And have both Japanese battleships there, have both American battleships that were there on the second night. Have a handful of cruisers, have a handful of destroyers, and call it good.
I'm about to say it'd be pretty rough on the Japanese to run up on, two 16-inch armed U.S. battleships that were pretty modern at the time.
Right.
With what, a Nagato and a Congo maybe? Or two Congos and a Nagato?
Well, actually, that was the Yamashiro and
Kirishima?
Yeah, Kirishima.
I was about to say those are Congos, my bad.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not great. So what I was saying of doing is having those two and then, throw the heavy cruisers in there, and then on the Americans have the South Dakota and Washington with some light cruisers and destroyers on each side, and just fight it out in the daytime as a what if. And if anybody gets butthurt about it, it's like, hey, this is my fantasy game, not yours.
Yeah.
So
I want to say, because the Congos still had the 14-inch refits, right?
Yeah, they were still sitting with the original 14s.
Yeah.
Nordwood said, "I'd ask if sun was out in Britain, but it's the middle of the night, so."
It's remarkably warm though. It's been a bit chilly of late through April, but it's warmed up quite pleasantly in the past few days.
Yeah.
But no, I
Well,
can confirm. I'm looking at the window. It's definitely, yes, it's dark out there.
yeah. Well, here it's rained off and on for the last, I don't know, week. Here, and it's, don't get me wrong, I grew up in South Texas, in Central Texas, and lived in Central Texas for a while, and we would go literally months without even a drizzle. So I'm not bothered by rain. I I'm happy to have the rain. So, but people around here are bitching about it.
Oh, is that my mic causing that noise? Or is that...
No, it's Nick Murray. Every once in a while, his connection gets all wonky. He has to drop off and get back on. Nord says, why not just have special rules where either side rolls a die each turn, and on a specific number, certain ships show up? That'd be interesting. And he's up there in Pennsylvania. He's expecting thunderstorms tonight. Take a guy out of Texas, but you can't take the text out of the guy. Absolutely. Hence the sign my wife made me that looks like the Texas flag is with the word home on it. My javelina picture, which is the mascot for the Texas A&I University, where I went my first semester of school, and then of course my quilt with my "Don't Mess with Texas" T-shirt on it. So
we know which state you're behind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and now Illinois is where I'm currently residing, and the winters are cold, the summers are hot. What are you going to do, right?
Yeah. But returning to your game question, I mean, yeah, you're right. Night battles are always difficult, aren't they? Whatever you do, because even if you say, "Oh, you can't," you reduce the sighting range. If you're
Yeah.
playing the game, you can clearly see where the opponent is, and therefore you can move to counter it. I mean, was there not a I'm scratching my knowledge of the campaign here, but wasn't there a chance when the Japanese went to try and retake the islands and they sent a fairly hefty carrier battle force against the Americans or the Americans and allies? That
Yeah,
was a daytime thing that would have been a better game to play.
It's a battle of Cape Esperance.
Damn, were you guys just listening to my conversation with my brother? I'm sorry, guys.
No, we did not hear you at all.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I'm being perfectly honest, we did not hear you at all. Yeah.
You guys missed some good fart jokes, but that's okay.
Well, Andrew and Mike wanted to know if you were farting or just shuffling, because you got all crackly there. But we didn't hear anything you said.
Perhaps he's just Robocop, and actually just went, that's his normal speaking voice, and this is the simulated one he's using with us now.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So there you go. So yeah, that's the Battle of Cape Esperance. The thing is I'm still dealing with how I want to handle aircraft combat in the game.
Right.
And I think I've got it figured out, but needs a lot of play testing, and I don't necessarily want to plop it out at a convention until I've play tested the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Charles, yes, they did have the Americans did have a surface search and gunnery radar. It was fairly effective as long as the commanders actually believed what the information they were being given. That's the reason why the first Battle of Savo Island was so disastrous for the Americans is we had radar picket ships out. They said, "Hey, there's something coming down the slot," and the commanders said, "I don't believe you," and then all of a sudden, spotlights and ships sinking.
Tends to change people's mind fairly quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, because the Japanese were deadly at night combat with those spotlights. Um, we lost a crap ton of cruisers during that first battle. Oh, let's see. You still with us there, McMurray, or are you on mute again? If you're talking, we cannot hear you. That's what I thought.
Is that such a bad thing, really? At the end of the day,
No, come on, man. What have you been doing any gaming yourself? I know a couple of weeks ago you went to a gaming convention.
I did. Yes, yeah. No, I went to. I managed to get up to Salute, which is, I think, the UK's biggest one-day
Mm-hmm.
convention up in that there London. I was only there for a few hours, just a chance to pop in and catch up with a few people. I didn't get a chance to game.
Yeah.
Dragging around a son who is not interested in gaming. We had a
Boo.
deal.
Boo.
We had a deal. I had genuinely tried. I know I've failed at this channel to get him, but he's so yeah. I struck a deal with him that I got 3 hours to walk around the convention and chat with friends, and then we spend the rest of the day in London doing what he wanted to do, and he was happy
Well,
to
I
do.
think that's good. I think that's good.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, got picked up a few things there, a few things to paint, but didn't actually get any gaming done. But I came out with, of course, I intended not to buy any miniatures while I was there. Silly.
However,
However, I picked up the new. We were talking arena combat, but I picked up Gangs of Rome, so not the latest
yeah.
Wiley game. Probably not allowed to say on this podcast.
No, that's fine.
That's fine. I got that and some Fallout minis. Hang on, I'll dig them up.
Very
Got
cool.
the Fallout pack. Oops, let's see. Well, there you go. This is the ones they've been doing from the recent TV show.
Oh yeah.
So because I've got a pack which is, sorry, I'm on the screen here. Yeah, sorry. I've got a bit of Sarissa terrain, which is an abandoned garage.
Oh yeah.
It's not the Red Rocket garage from the TV show, but it looks remarkably similar. I can't remember if it's called.
Sure.
But and I've always thought it'd be nice to make just a little diorama with that and some of the minis. But up to now, the minis from the game, it's always squads of the various factions. Of course, I wanted a mixture really, and
Yeah.
this box cover. So they had one on special. I'll have that. Thank you.
There you go. Yeah.
But the last time I was seriously getting, well, actually, sometime I went to the Bournemouth event, Beachhead, a smaller convention, but a 2-dayer down in Bournemouth on the south coast of the UK, and that was I went down with the intention of gaming. I spent the whole day playing games, which was lovely.
There you go. So, for our American viewers, who most of us are over here, my understanding is there's a little bit of difference in an American gaming convention and a British gaming convention. Over there, y'all have participation games and demo games.
Yes, yeah. Well, I've only been to about half a dozen UK gaming conventions, so I can't speak for all of them. But yes, all those I've been to, you'll generally you'll have, whether it's a 1 or a 2-dayer, you'll generally have a sales area, obviously for shows to come. Yes, then there'll be a range of demo games, whether it be a new game that's been launched, or local clubs putting on a game that their favourite game they'll put on and allow people to join in. Or maybe they'll run one that's got either perhaps sometimes they're a long, an all-day huge battle and people can drop in and drop out, or there are quick scenario-based games, that'll run for like 45 minutes to an hour, and they'll do that throughout the day. There will be some demo games, people showing off. Sorry, some demo games. People, you can't really join in, but showing off some new terrain, or again, sponsored companies will come on those. Sometimes they'll have a competitive area. So Beachhead that I went to in Bournemouth, that's got quite a big competition arena as well for. Tends to be 40k, but not just. There are other games also played as well there, so they have a big competition thing. So there's a mixture, and some shows clearly emphasize one more. So Salute tends to be trading, demo, and participation games. Doesn't have a strong competitive element. Beachhead had a strong competitive element. Yeah, I think there's normally one or two gaming shows every month, so you can take your pick as to what you like.
Yeah.
But that's what the UK ones are like. Whereas I don't know, having not been to a US based one, I don't know what yours are like.
Well, for us, we don't have demo games per se. To me, when I hear the word demo game, it is a company that is putting out a new game or a new set of rules or new miniatures, and they draw you in to do a few turns. They'll have a little, like a 2 foot by 2 foot or a 3 foot by 3 foot, you know, gaming area,
Yeah,
and they'll have some figures there to show you how, okay, this is how movement works, this is how activation works. To me, that's a quote unquote demo game. And then all the other games that I'm used to seeing are what you would consider participation games. Somebody is putting a game on, allowing anybody and everybody to come in and sit down and play that scenario for a 3 or 4 hour
yeah, okay.
session.
I'd say that's much the same. I'd go with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then, of course, as you're calling them, competition arenas, we've got the same thing, but they're done in a tournament style where, um, as you play through each session, if you win, you go to the winner's bracket. If you lose, you go to the loser's bracket. Now, you still play 3 or 4 games or 5 games, depending throughout the weekend.
yeah,
But, you know, depending on how much you win or lose by, gives you a certain number of points. And depending on the style of tournament that they're running, in most cases, if it's a convincing victory, you get like 5 points. If it's a draw, you get 1 point, and if it's barely a victory, you get 3, type of thing.
yeah,
And then at the end of the day, you whoever has the most points wins the tournament and whatever prize support
yeah,
with it. And then normally they'll have a first, second, and third place prize, and then a sportsmanship prize, which normally goes to the guy who comes in dead last, because normally the guy who comes in dead last has taken it on the chin the entire weekend, but has been really gracious about it.
yeah. Well, I'm not a particular tournament player of games. I've done a
Yeah,
few with Antares, but actually, I would say that yes, not dissimilar. The Antares ones tends to be faction based.
yeah,
So that you're playing for your faction rather than an individual, which just makes it there's a bit less pressure. If you lose a game, it's not the end of the world for you. Your faction may still do quite well because other players have done better than you, and that works quite well. I enjoy those sort of games. But yeah, that's not dissimilar. Um, so it sounds like I expect the main difference is size. I mean, say Salute's the biggest. I think the biggest one day. Um,
mm,
and that you can take a good few hours to get round the hall, see what's going on before you start to participate, have a go, play any games.
yeah,
You know, Beachhead, you can get around the main trading hall and the gaming hall in under an hour quite comfortably. And, it's not that large a convention, But there's lots of interesting games going on. So I spent the day very happily there, playing games all day, catching up with people. The community is not that big physically in the UK in terms of distance. So I mean, you're going to meet fair people anyway.
Sure, sure.
So it works. But I've seen videos of things like Adepticon and just go, oh, okay.
Well, yeah, and I've not ever been to a big convention like Adepticon or Fall In over in Pennsylvania, um, or even Cold Wars up in Chicago. The biggest convention I think I've ever attended. It's a toss up between Recruits in its heyday, when we would have about, I think we got up to like 450 participants,
Mhm.
um, or down in Austin at Millennium Con, where we had about the same. Um, and to me, that size of a convention is about right, um, because it gives you enough time. A lot of these conventions are 3 day affairs. They'll be Friday afternoon and evening, all day Saturday, and then Sunday mornings.
Yeah.
And you know, it gives you enough time to get a couple of games in, because we actually do gaming sessions, time slots. So,
Yeah.
for instance, Friday will be like a Friday afternoon and a Friday evening, and then Saturday will be Saturday morning, Saturday late morning, Saturday afternoon, and Saturday evening. Four 3-hour game sessions there with breaks for lunch and dinner.
Yeah.
And then Sunday morning is normally that's when you have your swap and shop day, and uh, the vendors trying to sell off their stuff at rock bottom prices because they really don't want to pack it up and take it back.
Yeah. But it's, I mean,
um,
it's like the adage, yes, size doesn't matter. If you went
exactly.
to I mean, I've seen your you've been kind enough to share some of your March to Victory videos online and do a bit of live
Hmm.
streaming, and that's a small event, but everyone looks like they're having a good time. So
Absolutely,
actually,
yeah.
does it
That's
matter?
the important thing. That's
Yeah,
but any bigger than, like I say, 400 or 500 people, and it's just you're not able to go. You're not able to go and see everything.
no,
You're not able to. You can't even get around to all the vendors on a convention that size. And God forbid you think about going to Gen Con. Holy crap! You're talking 25,000 people there.
yeah, yeah.
Hard
And
pass.
I
yeah,
mean, sorry, go on.
it's just in a convention of about 3, 4, 500 people, you probably know a lot of the people. You've seen them year after year after year,
Yeah.
and you know. No, I do want. Kind of a bucket list thing for me is to get over to the UK and get to one of the conventions. That's the other thing is for us. I drive 3.5, 4 hours to get to Kansas City to go to all of the Wiley gaming events.
Mm.
Um, I would think 3 to 4 hours gets you just about anywhere in England.
um, yeah. I mean, there's quite a
I mean,
few up in the lead belt, it's called, in and around Nottingham, where GW is based, and
yeah,
that spawned a whole industry in that area. That's 3 hours away from me, and I'm not far from the south coast, so that's about 3 hours away. There's always a couple of good events up in Lincoln, another hour further north.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, you can if yeah, you're obviously about 3 to 4 hours covers most of the English events. Yeah, 'cause Scotland's a little bit further away. Um,
right, right.
yeah. But
You
also in
know,
the UK, there's also quite a bit in the not just the wargaming, in the sort of general board, card gaming, etc. So
mhm,
we have UK Games Expo, which is the I should know because I'm going. It's the end of May, and but that's much bigger than even. I would say it's probably bigger than Salute in terms of floor area. It uses up a big chunk of the National Exhibition Centre at Birmingham, the NEC. But that covers, yes, there is wargaming there, but it's a lot of it is board gaming, card games, your Magic the Gathering,
Right.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Hmm.
There's lots of new games, board games tend to be launched there. So that's more of a focus on gaming collectively rather than wargaming. That's a bit bigger.
Sure.
And a chance, but lots of things go. But yeah, that's but there's quite a bit of that going. It was gaming shows generally rather than specifically wargaming ones.
Right. Right.
Caters for everyone.
And we've got we've got those as well here, and then there are some that you know do their best to kind of cater to everything. Um, Kansas City is actually Kansas City has got a really really good gaming culture, not just wargaming, but gaming in general. There's of course the different miniatures wargaming conventions. There's role playing game conventions. There's even wargaming board game convention. There's a wargaming board game convention there, which I'm still unsure of exactly how it works out, but apparently you pay $60 to go to the convention and you set up your board game, or you don't even set up your board game. Before the convention even happens, you kind of communicate with other players and say, "Hey, I'm going to be at the convention. Are you going?" "Yeah, I'm going." "Well, why don't we get together and play this game?" Like, why am I paying $60 to do something I can go to the local game store and do, or do it right there, in my living room.
Yeah.
Whereas uh, a wargaming convention, miniatures convention, you pay your money and you walk in. It's like, ooh, that game looks cool. I'm gonna go play that now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, um, Scalar Gremlin says, I think sometimes folks mistake how big the USA is in comparison to Europe. To drive from Seattle to Miami is 50 miles further than driving from London to Baghdad.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh no, I don't underestimate the size
Yeah.
of the US. I have been to. I've not been gaming. I have been to the US. Yeah. You drive to 3 hours just which is a long drive in the UK. You drive 3 hours just to get from sort of Orlando to Miami or something like that in Florida, or down to Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong. It's a big place. Your default
Yeah.
option is drive, or
Um,
fly. And I watch a
That's
number of
awesome. Where'd you go
US
in the
based.
US, John?
Sorry.
Where'd you go in the US?
I've been to Florida a couple of times, both with family and with work. When I was in the Navy, we were across there, and also up to Norfolk. Strange enough, again with the Navy, and then up into Canada as well, down the St. Lawrence Seaway. So I've done mostly, in fact, I've done exclusively East Coast. I've not been to the West Coast yet. All the Central.
yeah. He got to strut Miami Beach in his white short pants in his uniform.
Oh, damn.
Fort Lauderdale, but yes, yeah. I've
Look
been
at
there.
you go. This
The
guy.
Royal Navy is always popular when it rocks up in the US. That's the beauty of having ships that aren't dry.
Fair.
The US Navy and the Royal Navy, whenever they get together, wherever they are in the world, so the US Navy will be round for drinks fairly quickly.
Yes, right. Yeah. Whenever the officers from the two navies get together for dinner, it's always on the British ships.
Absolutely, yeah. We'll come to you for dessert and ice cream, but and popcorn. But yeah, absolutely. Before then, yeah, it's.
But that's because we brought ice cream and Coca-Cola production to the South Pacific, baby.
Yep. What, you're having a hard time getting rice to your troops? Man, that must be tough. We had the
ran
same
out of
problem
Coke
getting
last
ice cream.
Yeah.
Nord wants to know, McMurray, if you and Hexy are going to get Todd to play either TDOG or A Most Fearful Sacrifice in July.
I'm trying to get Todd to play Most Fearful Sacrifice with me in the Taj garage.
There you go. There you go.
In the process of being set up right now.
Outstanding. Is that going to be on? If he swings it, is he going to put some video up or a live play up on his channel?
I'm sure we'll do a series of videos like we did with It Never Snows.
There you go. There you go. Nord says just going from one end of Pennsylvania to the other is actually 9 miles larger than the width of the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
And Pennsylvania is not one of the big states.
It's fair.
No. I get it. It's big over there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but y'all you have a university that's older than the Mayan, the Mayan Empire in Mexico.
In all fairness, the Mayan Empire in Mexico is not that old.
No.
Our mountains are
but
significantly older than
but
the
to
Mayan
us it is.
empires.
I mean, the Mayan Empire lasted from 1200 to like 1600, 1500, 1550, and Oxford was founded in 1100 or some shit like that.
Yeah, it's been around. Well, my son's school had its 500th anniversary about 5 years ago.
Jesus.
There's Newhouse there. Newhouse is over 200 years old. That's the new house.
Yeah.
Old house goes back even further. It's been around for a while.
All right, Harry Potter, relax.
I was about to say, is the headmaster 500 years old too?
What?
That's what we got to do. We got to play Harry Potter, Fistful of Lead, and then have the Americans roll up.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Just get some corn-fed kid from Nebraska who's at American Hogwarts on a scholarship and just starts beating the brakes off of people. Who the fuck is that? Oh, that's Donnie. He's 6'5". He does wonderful things with corn spells. You ought to see that boy's soybeans, man. Holy smokes.
They think he's a half giant like Hagrid.
Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. Turns out he just likes fucking around with cows, man. He just slings them and stuff. He's 350 pounds and like 6'8". Yeah.
Yeah.
You just described my boss. No shit.
There you go. Yeah, exactly.
And he was a twin before his twin passed away a couple of years ago to cancer. And his mom was not a very big woman. It was like,
poor her.
Exactly. It's like,
yeah.
Jesus, man. And his other two brothers aren't small affairs either. I mean, Steve is probably 6'3", 6'4", and their little brother is still 6'2" and in the Navy, or used to be in the Navy. Hey, Mutt, how you doing, buddy? Mutt, all I gotta say is John could get on. I'm just saying. Mutt.
Oh man, Ilvermorny School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. What is that?
What?
I don't want to know.
Something tells me, is that from like a Harry Potter expanded universe, Nord? Because that sounds hilarious. I wonder if they have athletic scholarships.
Wow.
Oh, it's the American Hogwarts. There you go.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I could just see the Americans playing Quidditch, and the beaters are they don't worry about hitting the balls at the other players. They just go up and beat them with the damn bats.
Yeah, they look like Sammy Sosa, and they're cranking like 400-foot home runs with those things. Yeah, man. Just a little Barry Bonds floating around on a broom, just sending that thing into a low fucking orbit.
Yeah, they do play Quidditch in the UK. I don't know. I don't know how they do it. I've not looked it up, but I'm aware.
They do it here also, and they literally are running around the pitch running on their feet with brooms between their legs.
Oh, doing the Happy Gilmore thing?
Yeah.
Except for pretending like it's flying, not a wiener.
Right, exactly. Let's see.
This is something we got to get into.
If it keeps them happy, and
offending anybody, do what you do to have fun, man.
I'm just imagining, like you do that, and then you get some kid who's blowing like a 95-mile-per-hour fastball, just swinging the stick. It's got to eat over there. Yeah, okay, easy. Like, it's got little wings. That's cute. Good luck.
At that point in time, it's dodgeball on brooms.
Yeah, man. Like, kid can just land the broom and wing that thing through the hoops or whatnot, and you're golden, you know.
Mike says Hogwarts of Blood, Quidditch to the death.
Nice.
Someone right now is busy writing those rules. Jay is sitting there thinking, I can do that. I can get that IP.
Right.
Nord, I understand, buddy. I would also run around with a broom between my legs if I got to hang out with Anna Kendrick.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, this is just hilarious now.
Yeah. Welcome to Extreme Quidditch. Let's go.
Yeah, dude. Well, again, so it's the same as this is, and I will stand on this one. I don't know how physics doesn't work in Harry Potter world, like within the castle, right? Because they have like fires and shit that they got to feed. So obviously combustion is a thing, but somehow bullets aren't. But my point is, like, and they get into the later books and all the Death Eaters and whatnot, they're running around terrorizing civilians. Not around here, partner. Not around here.
Yeah, right.
No.
Yeah. You go wander around in America with robes and hoods on, buddy. You're finding a whole different set of fucking problems. You got another thing coming, bud.
Yeah. Me and the boys don't like what you're doing here. You can just back off, take your robes, and get the hell out of the country.
Yeah, man. You roll up.
Sorry,
you roll
apologies
up with
to
a
all
robe and
Americans.
hood.
Yeah, apologies for my terrible accent. I don't claim it to be.
Actually, that wasn't too far off, man.
It wasn't too bad, but you get like one warning, and then all of a sudden you get to meet Mr. Buffalo Gun. Kaboom! Welcome to America,
right?
Bitch. Yeah, done. Woohoo! And then Grandma's got a new brew. It's wonderful.
Yeah, exactly. Warmut wants to know why is there not an arena on the table for a sample of Arena of Blood? Because I don't have any appropriate miniatures currently to put on the table.
What house would you be from in Hogwarts? Oh, Midwest. Probably. That or maybe Ronald McDonald. I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah.
That was the only house I could think of. I don't know.
Let's see. The four houses in the United States would be what? McDonald's, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, and Coca-Cola.
Say like Lockheed Martin, Halliburton, Raytheon, Freedom Group. I don't know. Yeah, all the good ones.
Yeah.
Well, going back to the I don't have Arena of Blood here. Sorry, I've yet to pick it up, but I do have. I've got Gangs of Rome figures, which I could use for that, I suppose. Which is a gang fight.
Yeah, I do have Gangs of Rome figures.
Yeah,
so I guess I could
work.
use those. Speaking of Gangs of Rome, the new version.
Yes,
you picked it up.
I have indeed. Yeah.
Do they still have the snap-in?
No, we talked about that
thing.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Oh, no, dude, thank God, no.
Richard has got it. I'm in the International House of Pancakes. IHOP all the way. You're not wrong. Although,
Yeah.
actually, I take that back. Around where McMurray's from, it's definitely Waffle House.
Yes, yeah, Waffle House.
IHOP is a little highbrow.
Yeah.
We'll go with Waffle House. That's a good point. I even got a hat. That's perfect. I already got one. Yeah. I worked at Waffle House for about 4 days, and then I got a different job. It's fun, but
Nordic says, "Forget your houses. I'm building my own house with hookers and blackjack."
yeah,
You know
maybe
what?
there's a house
Forget the house and the blackjack.
Yeah, man. That's the Las Vegas remote campus, I would assume. I don't know.
Yeah, it's or up in Chicago at their house sigil is the bunny head.
Bears.
Yeah. No, but no, those little tokens, pushing tokens, have gone from Gangs of Rome. Thankfully, you use a dice now on the on your sort of stat card instead.
Okay.
I
mean,
it's a nice concept, but very fiddly.
Yeah, it was fiddly, and I think it was different just to be different.
And that's fine. I mean, get after it. Yeah. But they could never keep them in stock. So even if you wanted to play with them.
Yeah, exactly.
It sounds like they've really streamlined it to make it easier to play and more accessible to the gamer, which is badass.
Yeah. I like the new the action mechanic. Or you and I were discussing this earlier this week, Murray. But the idea is where you have a certain you can decide what you want to do. Say move, fight, move. You've got a maximum number of actions you can take, but you then roll the dice. So let's say you've got a I'm going to forget the statistic here off the top of my head. Whatever the agility, I think it is, you've got like a score of say 5, which means you could do up to 5 actions, and you roll 5 dice. Where if you don't get the, it's about 50-50 chance per dice. If you don't get that, you don't get to do all your actions, but you've already planned it out. So you might want to move, and punch someone. You roll the dice, you only get 2 actions. Well, then you only get to move and move. So there's quite a nice bit of jeopardy in there. You can towards the end of the game, clearly, I mean, I did a Hail Mary to try and capture someone and went for 5 out of 5 and got 4 of them and almost turned the game on the last roll of the dice. But it's quite a nice mechanic, and I'm sure it's in other games as well. There's very little new under the sun these days of wargaming, but I quite like the idea of you can decide how hard you want to push, and you might work or it might not, depending on the roll of the dice.
I like that. Most of the Song and Blades of Heroes series like that. I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have we lost not Jay?
I think he's probably talking to Donna. But yeah, that's a cool concept. I enjoy that aspect of friction more so than everything has to pass a test to do something. You kind of have an idea of what you want to do, and then you might not be able to achieve all of it, and you might do it. Chain of Command goes about that a slightly different way, but I enjoy that's.
Yeah, the concept's nice, isn't it? The jeopardy of but and also makes it fun because you get the I've just moved and I've stopped directly in your line of fire, whether that be a tank or a gang or own fighter. It does go, and that excuse me, allows for those. The moments of cinematic fun in a war game, which is what we all look for, isn't it? Those when it all goes horribly wrong for someone or horribly right, and it makes you laugh and you have some fun. Is that not the whole point of playing the game in the first place?
Absolutely, buddy. Nord's wondering, John, where you got that figure holder.
The actual answer is I won it in a competition. It's called a Wrathcore, I think it is. Yeah, Wrathcore PK Pro.
There you go, Nord.
It's
lamb.
If I'll pop it out, it's so you've got, if you can see it on the camera, it's a little cork bit with a split in it.
Oh, nice.
So it's great for obviously figures that have a slot in the bottom. You just stick them in, push it down, which locks the figure in place. And then you got this is designed as a support. So if you're painting, you can you rest your hand on the top or whatever to paint all the bits.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly they come in. I believe they come in different sizes. But this was a competition win. I had to put a silly video in about why I needed a paint holder.
Because you paint.
No. Well, I did. I'm trying to think what I did now. I think it was when, oh yes, I was doing some figures, some fine lines, and I came in with like a huge paintbrush and went, yeah, now to do the highlights. And it went everywhere, my hand, the miniature and everything. I said, that's why I need a paint holder. And for being stupid, I won a paint one thing. So I quite like it. I mean, it's limited obviously in terms of height, although I believe you can get larger ones. But it's just yeah. I mean, I do have the classic GWs as well for kicking around, or if I'm feeling particularly, fancy the the homegrown beer
Hell
cap
yeah.
and a beer cap and a matchstick with a bit of hot glue at the base.
Hell yeah.
It's whatever works. Whatever works.
It's very Fallout-esque for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what I do most of my airbrushing is done on beer bottle caps, just because it's when you've got a stack of minis, you want to stand up on a base, they don't fall over. Beer bottle cap and blue tack works every time.
Absolutely.
Or if I'm really thinking champagne cork and beer bottle cap. I mean, we're going high class here.
Whoa, we're mixing liquors, John.
Hey.
I mean, it's terrible. I mean, I've got to drink a bottle of champers. Darling, got to have a bottle of champers. What's it for? Oh, because I need the cork to do some miniature painting.
That's a good reason. You just start drinking on a Tuesday for that. Now I got to paint something tomorrow. So here we go.
I'm on the water now, I have to say. It is still early over here.
No. Well,
Father
Nord,
late, so
Nord says he's got a buddy over there in Reading. If I pronounced that right,
well done. Yes.
Or do you pronounce it some really weird
it looks
way?
like reading to me.
It does. Well, there was the Brad Pitt film Burn After Reading, which over here was colloquially called Burn After Reading. Yeah. Well, what's the other one? It's the there was a famous pin-up model in the UK. I'm trying to remember her name. Oh, Melinda Messenger. She was the girl of the Thrillenium. So I told you, it's 20 odd years ago. But she was done as she was typecast unfairly as the typical dumb blonde. She wasn't. She was quite smart. But it was always the joke about was she going to study ethics at Reading University or reading at Essex University?
Nice.
Reading's not far. Reading is, well, I would say it's a reasonable distance away. It's a couple of hours drive from here. I'm quite often there for work, so nice part of the world.
For those of you who don't know, John lives in Buckingham Palace.
Yes,
he works at the Admiralty.
He's a beefeater by day.
Yeah, he's got a super cool hat.
Now, there is a difference between a beefeater and a palace guard.
Oh, yeah. Very
yeah, aren't the beefeaters at the Tower of London?
Yeah, Beefeater, Tower of London exclusively.
Yeah. And they've got the kind of a scrunchy, slouchy type hat, right?
Yeah, I don't know what it's called off the top of my head. It's got a technical term, I'm sure. But
yeah.
They are the yeoman warders of His Majesty's Royal Palace and the Fortress of the Tower of London, and members of the Sovereign's bodyguard of the Yeoman Guard Extraordinary.
Yeah, the beefeaters.
Christ, John.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Oof.
No. Whereas it tends to be, I think it's the Coldstream Guards who do the ones in the big bear hats in front of the palace.
Yeah.
There was a lovely video I saw recently. Some little young lad, 3, 4, 5 years old, that sort of age, dressed up in that sort of outfit, watching the change of the guard in Buckingham Palace or in that area. And he's there, and he salutes when the guard go past. Of course, when they do their regular changes, they can't vary the routine. So he salutes as they walk past. And they basically ignore him because they're following the routine. But then once they've marched, a couple of them march off, and as they march, once they finished, they then turned round. They then came out when they're technically off duty and saluted this young chap for coming up and being like. And I thought, yeah, good on you, well done.
Yeah, exactly.
He's made an effort. You can't break your routine. But afterwards, yeah, why not?
Absolutely. How is that Divine Right of Kings over there going for you guys?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Well, we have a king still,
Yeah. No, I mean, by all means.
Yeah. Has the official coronation happened yet? The big ta-da?
was a year, just over a year ago now.
I'm about to say it's been a minute. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if they had the whole Westminster Abbey thing.
Yeah. It was about a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah, full thing.
Okay.
Very impressive ceremony.
It
To
hadn't
see.
happened since like what 1951, 52.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. Yeah, we don't tend to have them very often, and then purely,
Well,
I mean, nothing against.
recently, you haven't had it very often.
No, that's the thing. Yeah, but I was watching it thinking, I'm sure William is there going thinking, well, within the next probably 15, 20 years, I wish no ill to the king himself, of course, but he's into his mid-70s now.
Yeah.
He's probably got 20 years left, give or take a bit. So Williams will be looking at
Yeah,
thinking, this is I'm treating this as a rehearsal.
yeah. If it's anything like his mother, I mean, geez. I didn't think the old bird was ever gonna die off. Not to be overly
No.
disrespectful, but I mean,
Well, when you've
she was
probably got
right
the
up
best.
there with Keith Richards.
It's true. Yes, Keith Richards continues to astound medical science. I mean, that man is just, I think, well preserved in drugs is probably the main thing, isn't it, or alcohol?
Yeah.
I mean, nuclear war will go off, and there'll be three things left: Twinkies, roaches, and Keith Richards.
Checks out.
Nord says, I'm quite jealous of my friend who lives in Reading. He's been to the town where they shot Poldark, and he sent me a number of photos of the actual docks they used.
Yeah. That was down in Cornwall, I think, isn't it? That one.
Now, Cornwall is down in
Bottom left, southwest.
Yeah, down what they call Land's End.
Yes, Land's End's down the bottom there. Yeah, furthest southwest point of the United Kingdom. On the mainland, there are islands.
Right.
Further.
Yeah.
Where, John? Where are you at, bud?
Sorry.
Where are you?
I'm in Somerset, so I'm in the southwest. So I'm that bit that sticks out. If you've got Cornwall, the bit that sticks out southwest of England, you've got Cornwall in the corner. Then you've got Devon, and then you have Somerset at the counties. So I'm south of Bristol, if that if you.
I gotcha. Yeah. Outstanding. There you go.
Yes, definitely the southwest, which is quite nice.
Yeah, man, it's like the tropical paradise of England, isn't it?
Well, Somerset comes from the name of the area comes from being the Somerset is the summer town, summer area.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh no, it's a nice part of the country. I can't complain. I mean, well, the only thing is, I was raised on the coast and of course spent a number of years in the Navy, so I do miss not being on the coast. But you can't have everything.
How?
Yeah,
what
you're
kind
like
of drive is the
13
coast?
minutes.
Well, it's an hour's drive to the coast for me.
Okay.
So it's not on the coast, but it's
And which coast is that? Is that the Channel Coast
South.
or is that off into the Atlantic?
No, Channel.
Okay,
an hour's drive south. I mean, I can go to get to Bristol, which is technically a coastal town, technically. Yes, south down. It's about an hour's drive to the south coast. Get down to the Jurassic coast where all the fossils are.
You mean Portsmouth, where Victory and the rest of them are?
No, further west from there.
No,
Jurassic
I'm just
Coast.
giving you trouble because you said where the fossils are.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. I thought you were going to go.
I think he was referring to our Florida.
Yeah, yes. Well, that's further.
Where all the old
yeah,
bastards go to die.
I was thinking you were going to go there, actually. Yeah, but certainly if you go further east from Portsmouth, you talk about Brighton and on the south coast, and further along, there is and Bognor Regis. There is definitely people who've gone south for the final part of their lives, much like Florida.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that does exist down there.
Yeah, at one point in time, my brother and I were thinking about doing a trip down to over to the UK, and we were thinking of like flying into London and spending a couple of days there, and then going up to was it Duxford?
Yep.
And Bovington. and then out to Bovington.
Bovington.
Yeah. And then catching the ferry across to Cherbourg, and then doing like the Clintan Peninsula and Cannes and whatnot.
Mhm. Yeah. The other thing, if you were coming, is if you go slightly further, northern France and Belgium for all the World War One battlefields and memorials. That's
Yeah,
really very well set up out there. I did a tour out there. I was looking, actually, it was 8 years ago now, but it was did a brief, and there's lots of them. It was a 3-day tour around the area.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
that was amazing, really amazing.
yeah,
John, you're super close to Bovington also, and Stonehenge.
Yeah, I drove past Stonehenge. Well, hang on, I forget what day of the week it is. Tuesday. On the way to work yesterday, I go past Stonehenge regularly. And Bovington, yeah, the Tank Museum there. I've never been, but I understand it's very good. But yeah, that's about an hour's drive away. I used to
Well,
work
yeah,
at a
I was
place.
about to say, at that point, you got to decide whether you're going to go look at tanks or if you're going to tack on a little bit extra driving and go look at ships in Portsmouth. And I can't blame you for that decision.
Yeah. Yeah, you certainly got, Chris. You've got a good itinerary there. Certainly, if you wanted to, if you want to do that, I can recommend a few other places as well to go to if you're into for the military things. I mean, the Imperial War Museum in London is superb.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Well, we were definitely going to do that.
Well, I'm going to have to borrow your car, John.
I'll drive you. If you come, I'll drive you around. There we go.
Dude, I'm going to have a driver with a British accent.
Yeah, but over here, it would be, I've got a passenger with an American accent.
Well, whatever, man.
You'll be the odd one out.
I'll just wear a Canadian hat all the time. It'll be all right.
My mom and her sisters went over there in the mid '80s, and it was just the three of them. They rented a car, and they wouldn't let my Aunt Mary drive because she doesn't drive well. She didn't drive well in America. God forbid she get on the other side of the road in the UK.
I've driven in Europe and America, and to me it doesn't really faze me, apart from when I'm turning right in the US and the continent. Always so, because I'll be fine. I'll be on the right hand side of the road and turning right, but I'll naturally kind of drift to the left hand side of the road when I've turned right. That seems to be the bit that gets me. The rest of turning left is not a problem. Going straight is not a problem. Even when I come across the occasional roundabout in the US or whatever, doesn't faze me. But turning right always seems that's where I get me. So I go, oh crap, and quick swerve to get around again.
Yeah, but I don't know where they were, but they ended up getting lost, and they pulled over to talk to a farmer or a gas station attendant or something, and it said, "What? Can you show us where we are?" And they pulled out their map, and it says, "He said something to the effect of, love, you drove off the bloomin' map." So here's another map for you, and this is where you are. But yeah, they spent 2 weeks. They hit Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and they spent some time in England. So
yeah,
enjoyed it immensely. It was just the three of them. But yeah, I have never been off of this continent, and I being a geographer by schooling,
mm-hmm.
I want to go and visit the cultures that I have studied.
Yeah.
I want to go. I want to go to Europe. I want to go and see, what. I want to go see what old is in England, and I want to go see what ancient is in Italy and Greece and Egypt. So, of course, I could also, just stay in England and see what's old in Egypt.
Yeah, just go visit a few museums. We've got
the vast majority of shit that was old in Egypt. Thank God you can go to fucking England and see it.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here.
It's a fair
People
bit
would
around.
be bitching for their stuff back if they hadn't destroyed it in the last 50 years. So fuck them, to be honest with you. I mean, not to be impolite, but realistically,
Right.
sorry, bud.
Yeah.
Sorry, John. I don't know if that's an unpopular
No.
opinion over in the.
No. We've collected a certain amount of stuff over the years that we probably ought to at some point think about giving back. But
Collected.
yes, yeah, collected.
I wouldn't.
Here, you have these shiny beads. I'll have these wonderful cultural artifacts. Thank you very much.
Right. Well, I mean, over here in America, we said, here's some nice shiny beads. Thanks for the island.
Yeah, thanks for Long Island. Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
No, that was still the British, but okay, that works too.
Well, but yeah,
Technically, yeah.
Still the British, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we did say, here's some nice shiny coins. Thanks for the entirety of Alaska.
Yeah, but that was for the Russians, and fuck the Russians.
Exactly.
Yeah, man, that's. Yeah. The czars were dumb. What can I say?
Yeah. So, anywho,
Yeah.
we're quickly coming up to the end of the evening or beginning of the morning for John. What do you got coming up for yourself, John? You got any forecast for getting some gaming done, or
not in the near future. Just timing and a number of other hobbies are my hobbies intersect, and sometimes other times they get in the way of each other. But
sure?
no, I'm sticking with painting at the moment. I will get some once we've got some of these things, got these minis out of the way for my friend, and try and get this determined to enter this competition. It runs through May, so I've only got the rest of the month to do. Yeah, I'll get the Gangs of Rome out. Try and get a couple of games of that in down at the club. But no, nothing specific planned. I'm going to UK Games Expo at the end of the month, where I'm going to be on a stand there with the Too Thin Coats paint people. I don't know if you've come across this the new range. Duncan Rhodes' company. Yeah, so I'm helping them out on a stand on the day. So if you're in the UK Games Expo, I'll be there. Doing some paint tutorials. I mean, I say paint tutorials. I mean, you've got Duncan Rhodes and then the professional painters who work there. I'm definitely the enthusiastic amateur on the side, but we're helping people doing some painting. And I think there's a show mini, some little dragon that won. There's going to be a bunch of those given away, and you can actually come to the stand and paint it. So that'll be nice. So yeah, doing some work for them at that show. Well, you know, they gave me some paints. Least I can do is turn up and help them out.
Right, yeah. By some paints, it's the whole damn collection.
Yeah, it's it's pretty much all of that, and that lot. It's the 60 of the wave 1 and wave 2 I've got. So yeah.
Yeah, isn't wave 3 about?
Yeah.
Did they start the Kickstarter for
Kickstarter? Do you know what? I'm going to have a look because I don't know off the top of my head. I think the Kickstarter is running. I shall have a look. But yeah, but I look at it and go, I don't know how many more colors I need. I mean, 60 is a pretty comprehensive collection. It pretty much doubled what I had anyway.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of testing. I'm using them at the moment because I'm almost exclusively really trying to see how they are, compare and contrast my previous paints. But yeah, I quite like the way they're organized. They're organized into triads. That just takes some thinking away.
What were you using previously? Vallejo,
mostly Army Painter and a bit of Vallejo was my previous paints, which I have no issues with.
Sure.
I mean, they're all paints at the end of the day. Some are better for doing things of those. The Too Thin Coats range happens to be quite good on coverage. I prefer Army Painter washes still. Sorry, washes. So that's the reference some of you will get. And I still have my Army paint, my other stuff here. I've even got a few, dare I say, there's a few GW paints kicking around because I like what they did. Some of the old glazes they used to do, I quite liked, and it's quite. I'm pleased that Too Thin Coats now provided some glazes in the wave too.
There you go.
So it's quite nice to give those back again. So yeah, I mean it's they're all paints in a day. I'm just trying to learn how, I know army painter paints. I know how they work and the thickness. I know how to thin them down. I can use them in airbrush as well, just because I've used them for years and years. Tooth and coats I've been using for less than a year now, seriously. And the Wave 2 stuff only for a few weeks. So it's getting to know them. Yes, they're a different consistency. They react differently. For instance, army paints go really well with a wet palette. They work nicely on it. They'll use a bit of the moisture, but they don't. Whereas I'm finding the tooth and coats are a bit more inconsistent on a wet palette. Some of them just sit there and do nothing. Others just soak water up like it's been hiking across the desert for 3 weeks. Hence why you might not see it, but I've switched to I know it's a Duncan Rhodes thing, but using a tile as a palette. I actually find that for the tooth and coats that works better. I can add the water as I need it. And that's not a criticism. That's just you learn how to use your tools, and different tools are used differently, and the different paints are different tools, as far as I'm concerned. So but yeah, it's just sitting around playing, and there's a whole bunch of new stuff. They've brought some glazes, a few more metallics in this one, as well as increase the washes, which are all quite handy. So it's a good set here. Tooth and Coats Wave 2, Tooth and Coats Wave 3. Yes, it's Wave 3 has finished.
Okay.
Finished back in, I can't remember what it was now. It was backed, strange enough, and they're merrily trying to sort out shipping, as far as I know. I suspect that's the latest. Where are we now? Updates. Those familiar with Kickstarter, the Pledge Manager closes on the 15th of May, which is next week, and then they'll start shipping after that. So shipping is imminent for Wave 3. I suspect, therefore, there'll be a big presence at the Games Expo of the Wave 3 paints.
That'd be awesome.
Good.
Yeah,
sounds good.
I may see if I can pick some up. Well, I built this paint rack. As you know, you notice there's extra space in this one. I've only just built this a few weeks ago. Yeah, strangely enough, there are 63 slots on there. Should I pick up Wave 3 while I'm there?
Nice.
Although it's all organised as in line with their colour charts. I'm going to need a new colour chart. I have to reorganise it again, and I've only just got used to this one. But there is space if I need it.
Yeah, but I mean, you got your paints all nice and neat, and mine are just strewn all over, hell and gone.
Oh, this is new as of a couple of weeks ago. Exactly. I had paints. I had 3 or 4 different types of racks. I had some. I mean, if I show on the camera here, so that's the old paint rack. That was there, but there was sort of half of this was available, and then there's 2 or 3 other little odd paint racks over here, and then some random things stuck on the floor on the cupboard. So it wasn't well organized. It was just I got this second, the Wave 2 paints. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to finish printing and make myself a rack that organizes this whole area a bit better. I've hidden away. I had a bunch of shelves for minis, which I was sort of working on, but I hadn't either got round to or stopped. And I just found it distracting having too many on the table at once. So I've deliberately got rid of that area. I've got a small. Sorry for the dodgy camera work.
Sure.
I have to move this now because my light's in the way. So all I've got, I don't know if you can see up here on the shelf here, this is the only space I have now where I can put minis that I haven't finished. Is up at the top there, because then if there's not too much space, I can't have too many out. So that you put light on them. So that,
as I look at the entirety of the 8th Air Force sitting on my desk in 1/300 scale.
Yeah, I just found I was struggling with, there was too many things to look at and go, oh, I've got these to do, or this one to do, or that, or there's some over here, or there's a shelf of them here, and it was almost like there was too much to do, and I didn't do anything. So I thought, just for clarity of purpose, I'll sort the paint desk out, clean it up, get all the paints out so I can access, because this is literally every paint I've got within a reach of my hands. But also not too many minis. And it means I've now got boxes of minis in cupboards and things, but at least I don't look at them all the time. I can just take them out and work on what I'm doing. So I've got a dozen or 13 on my table at the moment, and most of those are about to be finished or have been finished now. So so I'm trying to be more organised, but I'm sure come back to me in a few months' time when there'll be stuff everywhere.
That's good. That means we're back to painting and stuff. I like it.
Yeah. Well, John, thank you so much for dropping in tonight. It's good to talk to you. And Maria, of course, always good to hear from you.
Absolutely.
Reese apologized for not making it tonight. He was the lead singer at church choir tonight, and then they are still in the process of getting moved into the new place.
Oh, dang. Reese is going to be printing soon.
Yep. So I wished him luck on the singing and hope he gets settled quickly. So hopefully we'll hear from him next week. But
that should be fantastic. I'm sure he'll be happy once he gets moved in.
And I'm hoping to be able to show off some aircraft with decals next week. And then who knows what else we'll talk about. All right, guys. Again, thanks everyone for dropping in. It's greatly appreciated. And as always, we will see y'all on the flip side.